Hey y'all, and welcome back to our channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the usual. And by the way, I'm in the sleeper, so it's probably going to be bumpy and jittery. Sorry for that. But today is August the 5th, and 24 years ago, I gave birth to my second son, and we called him Zachary. He was a beautiful redhead little boy with that redhead fire personality, and I loved him so much. Like, I couldn't wait to have him and hold him, and you know, he had a big brother, and I couldn't wait for them to meet and just love each other, which they did. And yeah, he was something really special. I have 5 kids of my own that I gave birth to, and he was the only one that came out with red hair. And he was the cutest thing. This video is going to be kind of hard for me, but I'm going to get through it. Usually, we do something special every year, but this year I've decided to just do this video. I was married before. Zachary is not Scott's biological child. I had 3 children with a previous marriage, and Scott had 2 kids by a previous marriage, and then we had 2 children together, so a total of 7. So Zachary is from my first husband, and when I gave birth to him, I didn't have no epidural. I had him all natural, and out of 5 kids, he's the only one that felt so different coming out. Like, it's hard to explain, but it kind of felt like he did some kind of a flip, like, and I could feel it down there. Very strange. But when he came out, my husband at the time and my mother-in-law at the time looked at each other like they were scared, and they rushed him off. I got one little peek at him, and they rushed him out, and I didn't see him for hours and hours. They said that the cord was wrapped around his neck. My husband told me that he looked blue. I don't remember if he cried or not. I'm thinking no. But they rushed him out. He had swallowed some stuff coming out. And yeah, I was totally alone because everybody ran to go be with him, and nobody stayed to be with me. So I was like in the dark for hours. Finally, when they brought him in, you know, they explained to me what happened. Like, he had the cord wrapped around his neck, and the reason they kept him so long from me is they couldn't regulate his temperature. It kept dropping. So even when they brought him to me, I only got to hold him for just a little bit, and they took him back because his temperature kept dropping. So he was also jaundice. After we got out of the hospital, I had to take him back to the hospital a couple times to have that checked out. It turned out to be totally fine, and everything they said was fine with him and everything. But my mommy radar just went off, and like, looking back now, I think him having the cord wrapped around his neck, you know, did something. He developed normally, like he walked early, he crawled early, he sat up early, all of that. But when it came to talking, like my oldest son, he was 2 and he could talk your ear off. But Zachary at 2 would barely say anything. And, you know, I was just thinking, well, maybe it's, you know, the second child syndrome that they talked about. Like, if everyone talks for him, why does he need to talk, kind of thing. So I didn't think anything of it. Well, then he started having like what I would call night tremors, where he would just wake up from a sound sleep and be like kicking and screaming and fighting for no reason. And I would just hold him and tell him everything's okay and calm him back down, and he'd go back to sleep. And then when he would get mad or upset, he would take all of his clothes off, strip butt naked, and just run screaming through the house or wherever we were at. He would just strip down and run. And, you know, at first, you know, he's only 2. We're thinking, oh, that's cute, that's funny, whatever. But it continued. It didn't get any better. And I did talk to the doctors, and they just pretty much chalked it off as, oh, that's a redheaded temper in him. So, you know, what is a parent to do when the doctors are telling you that it's a redhead thing? It was scary at some times because one time we were at a McDonald's right across from Busch Gardens, and we had just come out from eating, and he got mad about something and took off running, and his dad caught him right before he went into oncoming traffic. So it was really, really scary at times what he would do. I take that as, you know, those were my second chances with him, and I didn't realize it, kind of thing, because I've always asked, why didn't I get a second chance with him? But maybe I did, and I didn't realize it. Okay, so me and his dad split up when he was 3, and I got with Scott. And, you know, he loved his dad. I mean, all of my kids loved their dad. They didn't understand that why ain't mom with dad anymore, because in their eyes we never fought. They never seen us argue and fight or whatever. So it was a big shock to them, and I stopped going to church. I stopped doing a lot of things because I thought, oh my God, I've ruined my kid's life by leaving their dad. And it was really hard for me for a very long time. But I knew that that's what needed to happen, because we were just going nowhere. I was living 3 kids in 1 bedroom in his mom and dad's house, and he was never going to leave. And I couldn't live like that anymore. So me and Scott got together, and he was 3 years old, and he loved Scott. Scott taught him how to ride a bike. Scott taught him how to swim. Like, pretty much anything he knew how to do, Scott taught him. His dad would get him every other weekend, and sometimes in the summer. And, you know, we fought back and forth in court and all that kind of stuff. It was not good. A lot of things were said and done that I regret, but, you know, you're young and dumb and you want to hurt each other, so that's what happened there. Zachary was a pretty good kid, other than he had anger issues. He would get mad and he would want to hurt people. Like, I had to put all the knives up because he would always threaten to hurt somebody, one of his siblings. So we hid knives, we locked doors. Like, the other kids I think were pretty scared of him. even though he never really hurt none of them, he just threatened to. It was still scary, and he did that his whole life, pretty much. But even through all of that, we all loved him, and I babied him more than any of the other ones because of that, because I tried to keep him calm. And I know he wanted to be a good kid. It's just he had anger issues that he didn't know how to control. And I took him to the doctor. I took him to a neurologist. And they did all kinds of tests. They put him on ADHD medicine, all that kind of stuff. It didn't do anything to him. There at the end, they had put him on bipolar medicine, and I'll get to that in a little while. But anyway, we all were used to the way he was. And if I went off somewhere, I would tell the other kids, all the time, don't do anything to your brother to piss him off. I don't want a phone call that he's done something. And even as a teenager, he would still not strip naked, but he would take off running and all that kind of stuff. And it was scary. It was real scary sometimes. Me and him fought like cats and dogs when he got to be a teenager. One morning, Scott was going to work. He was leaving at like 6 in the morning, and the kids were getting ready for school. And him and his other brother was trying to wear pajamas to school. And he told them they better change out of those pajamas and put regular clothes on. Well, they did. And then when he left, they switched back. And I was sick. I was sleeping. I was sick that day. And I got a phone call from the school saying, you need to come pick them up. They're in pajamas, blah, blah, blah. So I was really mad. I was sick. I didn't feel good. I had the flu or something. And I had to drive all the way to their school, pick them up. And I called his dad and was like, look, you need to do something with this boy because he's not listening, whatever. So we decided that he would go stay with his dad for a little while. Well, that was a mistake. His dad just wanted to be friends with him and not be a parent. So I went to go get him back, and they tried to keep him from me. His mother was in on it too. And it was a bad situation. I had to get the cops involved, and it was bad. Anyway, got him back in school, never to do that again. And then it wasn't very much longer that we went to court, and I made him sign an agreement to let us move out of state. He signed it, and we moved to Pennsylvania. At this point, Zachary was only 13. And we moved to Pennsylvania in the summertime. And he celebrated his 14th birthday. Actually, he spent his 14th birthday. We had come back to Florida to get more of our stuff. And when we got back to Pennsylvania, we had a little party for him, but he started school. He loved it. He loved Pennsylvania. All of the kids loved Pennsylvania. They would move back to Pennsylvania in a heartbeat. So it wasn't Pennsylvania. It wasn't the move. It was none of that. He loved it. He had a creek he could go down there and play in that he did every day. He found an old swimming pool, a little kiddie pool in the garage of the house we were renting, and he got a bunch of fish in a bucket and was going to keep them all as pets in this swimming pool in the yard. And that was the kind of boy he was. And he went hunting. He brought possums or whatever it was, kind of animal up there that he had killed with a BB gun, and wanted me to skin it and cook it for him. And I was like, no, but that's the way he was. He loved to hunt, he loved to fish, he loved all of that. He loved the school. The school was so good. He had finally gotten a girlfriend, and just my mommy heart says that it had everything to do with her. Like, I think it was, his first little love, and he already didn't know how to express his emotions really well and stuff like that. So she was moving that same week, and I don't know if they planned it, kind of like a Romeo Juliet type thing, and he went through with it and she didn't. I don't know. Her mom had told me that she tried to kill herself at the beginning of the school year, and I don't know if she put it in his head. I don't know. But we had Christmas that year. His dad and his grandmother came for Christmas, and I asked him when he was leaving, I said, do you want to stay here in Pennsylvania or do you want to go back with your dad? I gave him the choice, and he said, no, I want to stay here. So, I knew he loved it there. He loved Pennsylvania. But in February the 9th of 2012, it started out like any other day. I woke them up. I told them to get ready for school. They all rode the same bus at the same time. I told them all I loved them, and they all went off to school that day. When they came home from school that day, I was cooking dinner. I was cooking their favorite meal that all of the kids loved. It's hard for me to cook that meal anymore, but anyway, I was cooking their favorite meal, and we were actually in the process of moving from Pennsylvania to Ohio because Scott had gotten a better job offer. And so we were packing the house up every day, and he was steady looking in Ohio for us a place to live. And so he was not there. And the kids got home from school. They asked me what I was making for dinner. I told them. They were all happy. I said, can y'all please go and pack up Bubba's room, get it all packed up, and then move him into y'all's room, which was my oldest son and Zachary's room. It was a huge room. He had plenty of room to put him there, just so we could get that room all boxed up and everything. And so they were like, yeah, sure. So they all started going in and helping pack up the house more. Zachary's chore was to burn the garbage, take the garbage out and burn it. He right away started on that. He sat on the counter and ate something and drank something, and I was like, don't ruin your appetite because we're about to eat dinner. He's like, I'm not. So, and I was sick again. Zach and CJ had been sick that week, and they had given it to me, and I didn't feel good. So after I cooked dinner, we ate. He ate with us. He was eating so fast, just shoveling it in his mouth, and I said, why are you eating so fast like that? I said, you're gonna choke. And one of the other kids giggled, and that just made him mad, and he got up and he was like, I'm never eating with y'all again. And he looked at me as he was walking out the door, or out of the living room. That was the last thing that he said to me. to any of us. Well, to me anyway. The kids said that he played football with them and he took a shower and all of that kind of stuff. And CJ even said he was cutting up with her in the kitchen while she was washing dishes. I had laid down because I wasn't feeling good, and the neighbor had come, and the kid said, "Mom, the neighbor's here." So I got up and I went back to the living room, and the kids had already made her some food and gave her some food, and all the kids were out in the living room except for Zach, which was not anything in the ordinary because he liked to be alone. He liked to do things alone. That was just him. So we didn't think anything of it. And I darn sure didn't have any clue that he was up there hurting himself. So she visited for about an hour. He never came down. None of the kids or me left the living room. We just sat there talking to the neighbor. Well, when the neighbor left, I told the kids, I was like, all right, let's start getting baths and getting ready for bed. It was after 7. So Brittany, my youngest, started crying, which she did daily for her daddy. And so I was like, she started crying out of the blue, just wanting her daddy. And I was like, comforting her and trying to get her to go get a bath and everything. And that's when my son come falling down the stairs, my oldest, and he's white as a ghost, and he's like, "Mom, call 911. It's Zachary." And I was like, you know, what's wrong? What? He's like, he hung himself. And I was like dumbfounded and was like, is he okay? And he was like, no, call 911. So at this point, my girls start screaming and they go running after the neighbor that had just left. She was a volunteer paramedic person. And so they ran and got her. The service in our house there sucked. So I attempted to go up the stairs to his room, but it was like somebody pushed me down the stairs and I couldn't go up it. So I ran out the door because we didn't get good service in the house anyway. And I called 911 and told them what had happened, and they wanted someone to cut him down and start CPR on him, and I couldn't do it. I handed the phone to my 16-year-old son, and I told him to do everything that they told him to do. And then by that time my neighbor had come, and I was like, do you know CPR? Can you go? And she was like, go down to my house. Just go down to my house. And so me and the girls went down to the house. Well, I had 4 boys, and my oldest one found him. And then my other 2 went up the stairs, and they seen him like that. The girls never seen him like that, and I didn't see him like that. Just the boys. And so thankfully my oldest son had the keys on him to one of the cars, because when the ambulance and all that got there, the police was there, they wouldn't let us back in the house. So when my son come down to the neighbor's house where I was at, I was like, did he start breathing? Is he okay? And he was like, no. And he was like, they're working on him now. And so I called Scott right away, and I told him, you need to come home. He was 5 hours away. He got there in like 3 hours. It was still after midnight before he got there. I called his dad and I told him, you need to get on an airplane and get here, and told him what had happened. And we went to the hospital, and the church that we had started going to the pastor and a couple other people came and prayed with me, and the cops talked to all of us like, I don't know, like we were suspects in a murder or something, you know, asking us all these questions. And anyway, we answered all of them. And then a group of doctors come to me and was like, do you know what happened? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, is he okay? And he was like, no, with a straight face, no, he didn't make it. And it was like my heart just sank to my throat. I was in shock. I was like, he just ate dinner with us, you know? He was just there eating dinner with us, and now you're telling me he's gone. Like, I don't get it. How can a healthy, happy boy be there 1 minute and gone the next? Anyway, I couldn't go back to that house. There was no way I was going back to that house. Like, ever since I was 12 years old and I watched my grandmother die in front of me, I've been like scared to death of death. Like, death scares me. And I was just not going back to the house. So his boss at the time put us in a hotel for a week. And we got to the hotel, and I was just like, me and the kids, we didn't even know what to do. Like, we were just in so much shock. And my youngest son, Cody, oh my God, at the hospital, I thought I was going to have to admit him. He was so upset and distraught over what he had seen that I seriously thought he was going to have a heart attack and die too. He was that upset. But I calmed him down as best as I could, and we went to the hotel, and my neighbor stayed with us the whole time. And you know, we all tried to like figure out what in the world just happened. You know, like, how could this have happened? We were all home. How could this have happened? What happened to make him mad or upset, or, you know, just what happened, you know? And none of us knew. To this day, we don't know. He didn't leave a note. Nothing. Just nothing. I know saying, why are you putting so much stuff in your mouth, and him getting mad at that was not enough to make him kill himself. You know, there's no way. But to me, that's all that happened that night. Now the kids since then have told me, oh, he was mad. They were playing football outside, and one of them hit him in the face with the football on accident, and he got mad about that. But then I heard that he was fine afterwards. He still came downstairs, and he took a shower, and he did this or did that, you know. It was almost Valentine's Day. He had bought his girlfriend a present. Like, I just don't think that he planned to do it. I think that it was an impulse thing. He was very impulsive. Like I said, whenever he would get mad, he would just take off running. When he was little, he would strip down and just take off. Like, I just think that for whatever reason, he got it in his head, and that's what he did. Boom. He didn't think about it. He just did it. And, you know, I always told him growing up, I said, you keep doing stuff like this and you're gonna die doing it. Like, you got to calm down, and you got to not be like this. And I was right. Because he did that, and there's no coming back. And he was loved so much. Like, I wanted him so bad. It's the hardest thing that I've ever gone through. I pray I never go through it again. I worry about all the kids. I worry about all of them. They all get depressed. They all get mad. They all get sad. And I think they're going to do it too. I worry about myself. Like, there's days I just don't want to be here. You know, it's hard when you have kids and a husband that loves you, and I feel like my son is alone in heaven, even though I know that's not true. But it's just hard to want to be there with him and want to be here with them. And that's a struggle I have. He had a good funeral. A lot of people came from the school. My family came from Florida, the ones that could. It snowed that day for his funeral. It hadn't snowed yet, so I think that was a sign from him. I had went to the house the very next day to get some stuff, and I went up to his room and I stood and I touched the closet, and I felt his presence there strongly. And all I could keep feeling was, Mom, why can't you see me? Mom, why aren't you talking to me? Mom. And I don't even know, but I think I said it out loud because you're gone and I can't get you back now. After the funeral and everybody left, and I didn't eat for 3 days. I was really weak and I had already been sick, and it was hard. We moved to Ohio the very next week. We lived in a hotel for a while till we found a house. And there were days that we just sat there and we didn't say anything to each other. We just didn't know how to act. We were so much in shock. But I got the kids back in school. My youngest ones cried. They didn't want to go to school. They were scared. I wouldn't let them sleep in their own rooms. I wanted them in the bed with me or on the floor next to me. I think they slept beside me or with me for the next 6 months because I couldn't deal with them being away from me. Scott would make me go to work with him because he was scared of what I was going to do. I was just so out of it. But he was my rock through it all. Like, that could have ended our whole marriage, but it made us even stronger. You know? I don't know how I would have got through with it without him. We would talk every day. There were days that I would go and stand out in the yard in the rain and just let the rain hit me and just cry. And he would come out there and stand with me. hard. It's been 9.5 years. And it's still hard. As y'all know, I'm going through some stuff with my kids right now. I'm worried to death about my daughter. I can't handle another one dying. I don't think I'll live through it. It's hard when they grow up and there's nothing you can do. Like, you can't force them to come home. You can't force them to do the right things. And if you tell them that they're doing the wrong things, they hate you. That's what I'm dealing with now. But anyway, I'm going to end this video here. And it's my son's 24th birthday. And I'm allowed to be sad about it, that he's not here. And I wonder what he would be like now. He was such a good artist. I wanted him to go to art school and follow that dream that he had to be an artist. But it was gone. And I still don't know why. I'll never know why until I get to heaven, and then it won't matter.
I love you, baby.
So, yeah. Happy birthday, Zachary. I love you more than anything in this world. Until I take my last breath, I will remember you. I will love you. And you'll be always in my heart. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please talk to your kids, talk to anybody that is going through mental health issues. It's not a joke. Like, he didn't show not one warning sign. None. It was a normal day that ended in him dying. So, take what people say very seriously and always be kind. Thanks for watching.
Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? Everything's different. me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you dance in the sky, and I hope you sing if the angels cry, and I hope the angels know what they hate. I'll bet it's so nice, oh, been there since you arrived. I hope you dancing in the sky, and I hope you sing in the angels cry, and I hope the